What's up, my friends? I'm here at McBride Skate Plaza. We're going to be talking about how the adversity you're facing in your day-to-day, aside from skateboarding, is not something that that should derail you from, oh my God, that should derail you from your plans of progressing on the skateboard, but instead be something you bring in to the equation. So you can have the right perspective, idea, application on how to progress on the board. But let's say you're going out of your house, right, to go to your skate session, and you realize that let's just make something up. That no, actually, let's not make something up. You realize that you can't skate a certain park or your spot for that matter because there's construction happening, right? So some adversity as little as that, or some adversity as big as, let's say a family member going through something that you just can't skateboard because something happened in the family. Now, you shouldn't see those things as something to discourage you, but instead you should see it as a way to fuel your path, or to fuel the that effort to progress, right? What you could do. And so even though we can't control things like that happening, or control whether or not those things happen, what we can control is how we respond to those things. And that sounds super corny the way I just said it, but the way that's applied when you're skateboarding is understanding that you got to be ready for any situation. So if you can't skate at the park, or you can't skate for a week because of family, or because of the construction, then you got to understand that it's important to have different applications, right? Be diverse. So adversity in itself is like, you can't control. You don't know what's going to happen. It's called adversity. There's things you don't expect. So with diversity, by just understanding you should have a diverse approach to your skating, is going to help you in so many ways. So for example, right, lately, okay, for a second I thought this wasn't filming. It's dark right now, so I can't see it. For instance, let's say you're at the park, and as soon as you came in, you fell, you scraped yourself. Now you don't feel like skating. You're probably in a bad mood. The natural response is to get away because you just got hurt, you got injured. But instead of that, we want to think about, okay, what are other options aside from the option that's gonna take us away or move us in a separate direction that we want to go, right? We want to progress. So going out and just calling it quits because we fell and scraped ourselves and don't feel like it is not moving us towards progression most times, right? So what you want to be able to think about is, what would you do in those situations? So what are you going to do in the situation that you can't skate the park? What are you going to do in the situation that you can't practice kickflips right now because you don't have a good board? What are you going to do when the park is busy? What are you going to do when you can't skate flat ground? All you can skate is, a quarter pipe. I don't know how that works, but my point is, how are you setting yourself up to be a diverse skateboarder, so you have multiple opportunities to skateboard instead of just calling it quits because you can't skate the way you think, or you can't skate the way you are limiting yourself to. So in other words, do not limit your skateboarding because it's going to limit your route. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? Do not limit your skateboarding because it's going to limit your route to progression. So one of the many ways I do this is, after I have some lessons and I don't feel like skateboarding, this is my example, everyone has their own. What I do so that I can still be on the board for a bit is but I encourage myself to stay there for maybe at least 10 minutes. Just push around, which is what I'm doing right now actually as I make this video. Push around, see how the body's reacting to this information, all this sensory information, and pretty much just allowing myself to giving myself permission to progress. Because otherwise, if I just leave and avoid skateboarding simply because I don't like this park, or simply because I don't feel like skateboarding, but I do want to progress. Let's not forget what our goals are, right? Our goals, this is very, very general, but our goals are to progress one way or another. So if my goal is to progress, leaving the park when I have access or the opportunity to even just roll around is very counterproductive. And so for that reason, I want to avoid being counterproductive and, apply myself to something that's going to help me progress on the board, right? Sometimes we see progression in a very linear way, where we can only see it being stairs instead of being a whole hill or a whole mountain that you can make your different routes to get there. And so I want you to think about that, where you're looking at the top of the hill. In this case, it's your goal, and you got to understand that you can go straight up, you can go zigzag, or you can go around and look for another path where the stairs aren't too big or the steps aren't too big. My point being, there's many ways to get to your goal. You're just not having an abundant mindset, in the sense where you face adversity and you're able to reroute. So you want to be able to, you want to give yourself that opportunity to reroute when it comes, because it's going to come, right? Adversity is going to happen. Your board might get waterlogged. You might just fall as soon as you get to the park. You might not be able to, you might get an injury. You might not be able to skate for a year. And what if you had a goal that you wanted to land your first kickflip by the end of the year? Well, guess what? You want to take into consideration, or not like be paralyzed by it, but you want to surround yourself with ideas that are going to help you progress. So maybe you can't skate, but you can watch video parts, you can stay inspired, you can create a community through skateboarding, so that even when you can't skate physically, you are still part of it and inspired, and little by little fueling yourself so that you can withstand that 1 year of not skating. I see a lot of skaters, and even myself many times, where we are met with adversity and we use that as an excuse to stop skating or take a break, as many of us say. And really, even though taking a break isn't bad, and it's actually, it could be very good, it's how you're taking that break, right? How you're thinking about it. Many of us want to push it away completely, and sometimes it is good, right? Like, I'm not saying don't push it away. I'm just saying it's more of like, oh, well, I'll open up this door next time. It's more of a like oh, goodbye, see you soon, instead of a goodbye, let's see if we see each other later. It's a whole different, it's a much it's a much, how do I say this? Like, you don't build resentment if you're like, oh, okay, goodbye, like, I'll see you tomorrow, instead of being like, okay, late, like, I don't know if I'll see you tomorrow. It's a whole different perspective, that one of them is going to have you feeling excited to come back, whereas the other one's going to have you like having doubts, questions, fear and whatnot. And so, long story short, I don't want to make this super long, is you want to have an abundant mindset, so that when you face adversity, you don't use whatever adversity you're facing to make up an excuse and derail you from achieving your goals or progression. Because at the end of the day, it's not about reaching that goal or progressing to the way you want to, but it's about being able to overcome that adversity and continue on the journey to reach that goal, or that destination. To sound kind of corny. So, having said that, guys, if you're struggling with that, oh my god, I almost ate it. If you're struggling with that application of mental gymnastics, message me on Instagram, write some comments on this channel, check into the lives, check into Instagram lives, and just follow me. No, just kidding. No, and just keep yourself capable. Keep the doors open, right? Keep the door of reaching that, or how would I say it? Like, keep that trail open. You wanna make sure you're not easily strayed away from skateboarding, if it's truly something you want to do, right? If it's not, then I'm not here to hold your hand and tug it back into the world of skateboarding. But just understand, skateboarding is very abundant, and there's a place for you if you're willing to find it. So I'm here to help you find it, and I'm here to help you progress if that's something that you want to do. Again, no one's trying to force you to stay in skateboarding, or at least I'm not. And so for that reason, I think I'm just dragging this outro too long. But for that reason, I bring this topic up, and I hope you guys got something that's gonna help you move towards action. Move towards action regardless of that adversity, and see what the journey is going to continuously expose you to. Having said that, guys, I won't drag it out too long. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next videos, or on live, or maybe on the Instagram DM. Who knows? You can hit me up at profe.carlos to see if lessons or coaching is something that works for you, or if you just have some questions about it. That's what I'll be there for. Peace out, guys.